talking about limitations. So Joel, give us a little bit of context about why you felt like this was a good topic for today.
So listen, every single person at some point in time in their life, and I would say it's cyclical, seasons of life, you run into a season where you feel like, I can't do this because, or this won't happen for me because. And you have reasons in your mind why you're limited or why you can't accomplish something.
That's good.
It could be the people that you're surrounded with. It could be a lack of finances. It could be a lack of education. It could be a lack of connections. It could be a whatever. There's a gajillion different reasons. But if we're not careful, we can get stuck in life. And as a coach, I work with people nonstop. As a leader in a nonprofit organization, helping people to better their lives, I work with people nonstop that are stuck in their head.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's all mental game.
I'm sorry to say it like that because it can come across so harsh, or they're stuck in their feelings.
Yeah.
And they've got these feelings about something that hold them, anchor them into a place. They're stuck in anger. They're stuck in bitterness. They're stuck in resentment. They're stuck in unforgiveness. And they're in their feelings. They can't this because of that. And they're just stuck until they deal with the reality that those things are, I mean, we've gone over this a gajillion times. Your thoughts are biochemical and electromagnetic entities. They're real things, right? Yeah. So it's not just in your head, it's chemical reactions and electromagnetic things, responses, actions. It's more than just in your head. It's actually happening inside of you. Yeah. So it's real and it feels real, but a lot of it is self-induced.
Yeah.
Right? I read a study years ago that 70% of the diseases that we suffer with in mankind are caused in the brain. They're caused with how you think, because the way you think determines whether or not toxins are released or healthy healing chemicals are released, right? Yeah. So how we think is huge. And so each of us, we've had seasons where we've had disappointments. Yeah. Okay. I mean, how many times this hustle idea has evolved? 3 times, right? Four times. Actually. So, I mean, so there, anytime, I remember we've talked through a lot of this stuff, but anytime you go through seasons where it seems like a failure, it seems like it didn't work. You know, what Thomas Edison said, I never failed once. I just learned 10,000 ways it didn't work. You know, it's like, so we talked recently about being kind of in a hurry to fail. Yes. You know, let's go ahead and fail because that way I can get it out of the way. I can learn and move forward, right? But we can also get stuck in seasons of limitation. So I want you as an audience to think about that. Start thinking about what are some of the limitation thoughts or feelings or beliefs, we'll call them limiting beliefs, that you've dealt with in the past, maybe some limiting beliefs that you're still dealing with now. We would love for you to send those in. Jump down in the chat, send in a limiting belief that you're dealing with. We can dissect it. What I want to do by the end of this is see if we can't rewrite some of those limiting beliefs and reverse them and create a brand new belief that flips the script.
That was one of the first things that you and I worked on together when I had originally approached you to be my coach. And I was like, hey, like, these are all the things going wrong in my life, fix them. And you were like, the first thing we need to do is write a phrase. And it was more towards someone. And we talked about this, I think, a couple weeks ago, but it was, how do you rephrase how you, every time you think about this person, you get this negative thought, right? Yes. But in reality, like, that principle of rewriting and retraining your brain with a phrase, like, for example, like, I used to always think like, oh, like, I failed, I screwed that up. Yeah. And now I have to stop myself and I have to say, no, you're learning. And you're going to be victorious. Yeah. You're going to win. You're going to win no matter what. And I have to do that. Otherwise, I'm just always down on myself and I'm exhausted. And the funny thing is I feel it physically, just like you're saying, like, when I fail or when I make a mistake and I'm like, man, like, oh, Jonathan, why did you do that? And I'm so mad at myself. Like, I can feel it physically. But then when I'm down, I'm exhausted. And then when it clicks and I'm like, stop, like, you're going to be victorious. You're going to win. You're going to come out on top. You know, this is going to happen. You're going to be just fine. Like, this is a lesson you're learning right now. I can feel that. I can feel that change. And I can feel that, like, even right now as I'm just talking, you know, and I'm not even thinking about any, like, issue specifically, it's a physical feeling. But reframe phrasing and framing
Right.
that. And my wife is a counselor. They talk about reframing all the time, but in a slightly different context, but more like memories and things
Right.
like that. But it's all the exact same principle. It's all
It is.
rewriting the script in your mind that happens every time that you fail, every time you feel limited, every time you feel like you can't do something. What are you telling yourself?
So with that said, if in the audience right now, shoot us a statement into the chat. We can look at that as we walk through. Maybe a place you feel limited right now could be, you brought up a relationship.
Yeah.
You feel stuck with a certain relationship. You can feel stuck in a certain season of life, right? So let me give you an example. In the season that I created my Winology product, which is a winning system based on ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge that has been in use for literally thousands of years. This knowledge has been in use in different cultures around the world. And I had this idea. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could translate this ancient truth into something that fits right into the business world. It's guaranteed to work. And I began to help companies grow by 50%, 100%, 400%. Based on principles that were true that have been used through cultures all over the world. But I had all of these, I had all these roadblocks in front of me. One of my limiting beliefs was, so here I was a professional martial artist, okay? So in certain ways, I was really confident, but I was 3 years into college. I owned my own business. I was only going to college to get my business degree so I could run my business. And all of a sudden I had investors and my business took off and exploded. And I moved onto moved from the national to the world competition stage, and my whole life shifted, and I never went back. I just, I went to the counselor at the university or at the college, and I'm like, hey, what do I got? I got like 74 hours. I got to have something. They're like, oh, you've got this, associate's degree. I'm like, I'll take it, right? Just cash me out, kind of a situation. Never look back. Well, here, now I've got this idea that I'm proving inside of businesses that can revolutionize the way people perform inside of the organization. And I got an $11 billion company that's interested. And I've got to interview or pitch or demonstrate what I do in front of the top executives of this organization, that their whole department, they're overall learning and development for an $11 billion company. And I'm the Karate Kid, transformed.
You can't name drop?
No. At the time, it was a company called Whole Foods Market. They're now owned by Amazon. They're still called Whole Foods Market, but had a really cool opportunity there. And they had never had anybody from the outside come in and hired an outside coach. So I had all of these limiting thoughts. Number one, I don't have the education for this. Number two, this lady, her name was Nona. So Nona had the ability to say no. And if Nona said no, it's over. Okay. And so Nona could say no. So but I knew I had a great product, but I had these thoughts in my brain. And so I had to recreate the statements that I made. So instead of saying I don't have the education, why would an $11 billion company hire me, a college dropout, to come teach and educate? They've got degreed people. They've got their own whole departments. They got multi-millions of dollars of training and development already. Why would they go with me? I'm just this, right? I had to flip that and say, you know what? They don't have a single person. They don't have one 6-degree black belt, 4-time world champion. They don't have anybody on their staff that's had a 3-day bloody nose from a kid in Poland. They don't have nobody on their team thinks like I think. I had to, and that may sound arrogant, but I had to create in my brain. So my statement was, my whole life has been the education for this. Everything I've ever done, I've only helped people win. Since I was 14 and taught my first martial arts class, all I've ever done is help people win, bring out the inner champion. My whole life has been the education for this. They don't have a single person that can do what I do. They absolutely need me. And number two, number three, number four, Nona's going to say yes. Nona's going to meet me. Nona's going to love me. Nona's going to hear what I do, and Nona's going to say yes. And every person I talk to, I would literally say, hey, when you think about me on Tuesday, I want you to say this. Nona's going to say yes. And I had random people all over my life. I just want that out in the universe. Nona's going to say yes. Well, guess what? Nona said yes. And next thing you know, this guy who had all of these limiting beliefs rewrote those beliefs. And next thing you know, I'm working with a multi-billion dollar company, going to their headquarters every single month and training dozens of leaders in the organization. And it was and it changed my entire life. But I was hung up on the way I thought.
100%.
So shoot us some ideas on that. Jonathan,